is the door open just a little bit? Just a little bit. If Howell performs well and Geno stumbles at all, is there an opportunity there for Sam Howell?
Yeah, he's a quarterback, but he's really a football player. That's what I love about him. Really tough, young. He's 23 years old and has 18 starts. In the league already, and he's the same age as like Daniels from LSU and Rattler and Penix, and he's a year younger than Bo Nix, and so.
We have got to talk about the Seattle Seahawks. When I really sit down and dive into this organization, this new team, pick up my head and I'm like, how is no one talking about the Seattle Seahawks in the same light of like, they have a new head coach. The Pete Carroll era is over. What are we actually in real time about to witness about this new Seattle Seahawks regime? This is a recently historically respected franchise in a few departments of them having amazing running game seasons, whether it be with Beast Mode himself and then the new star running back in Kenneth Walker. It's a very simple, hey, we got to run the ball on offense and then look for play action or big plays down the field. That has been the code for the past, 10, 12, almost 13 seasons with the Seattle Seahawks. Hey, even the Sean Alexander Hasselback days, like this was the code. Hey, let's run the ball, and then look for anything over the middle. Let's look for the tight ends. It's a very brash form of football for the past really 15 years, maybe even longer. And so when I sit back and really analyze this chart, when I really sit back and analyze this team, bringing in Mike Macdonald, the former defensive coordinator from Michigan, so he went to college for a little while, but if you look at his track record, he has been embedded the Baltimore Ravens regime. Like he's had a lot of coaching opportunities for the Baltimore Ravens even before he got to Michigan in 2021. And so you have that, and then you also have the very dominating, defensively impactful season that the Ravens had last year, and it was all by the head of Mike Macdonald. And so I just want to know, where are you guys at? This is exactly the same style of coach that Pete Carroll was coming out of USC. Run the ball. Let the quarterback have the game come to him. Look for the easy spots. Don't have to be a playmaker superstar at the quarterback position. Wow, we have Geno Smith and Sam Howell. Very much fit the blueprint of what type of quarterback that is. Let's get a very big, stocky type running back because we're going to be running the ball. But before anyone worries about anything, this defense needs to be set. And so, like I said, we are seeing some amazing things within the front office of the Seattle Seahawks. But where are you guys at? Genuinely, whether it be with your hopes and your wishes, where is your expectation for this team year one under Mike Macdonald? I think this is an opportunity for you guys to take the league by storm. And there are a few players that I definitely want to key in on to make sure that you understand where I'm coming from with that comment. Now, another thing that I want to harp on is what you guys are going to be doing in the first round of this upcoming draft. I have 3 players that I genuinely believe, and or just 3 positions that you guys should be hunting down for the upcoming draft. You guys currently hold that 16th spot within the first round, and I genuinely, right, this is my gut reaction. I think when all is said and done, there is going to be no mistake when Roger Goodell says Jackson Powers Johnson, center, Oregon. That just seems like that's going to be exactly, you guys understand what I'm saying. Jackson Powers Johnson, a big, strong, very physical, very, very intelligent center for the Oregon Ducks. And people are talking so much about Bo Nix. I don't want to discredit that guy in this video, but the things that Jackson Powers Johnson did to help out Bo Nix and that entire offense, it's just going to go unseen. It's going to go unrecognized. And so I think if you plug in day one Jackson Powers Johnson into that center position, you have the former Michigan center that I think you guys drafted either 1 or 2 years ago. He's a guy that I really liked. I really liked him, and I still do. But when you see the size and the athleticism and the command within the offensive line for Jackson Powers Johnson, and then you look at the other pieces, I mean, I just like that fit the most. And then you could also go to Graham Barton, the Duke, the very, very versatile offensive lineman who has played a lot of center ball, and he has played a lot of guard ball and a lot of tackle ball as well. So that actually could be the better fit for you guys, in the realm of, you guys always have someone getting hurt in the offensive line department. You guys always have someone that can't play the full 17 games. Someone gets hurt, some gruesome injury. So it could be a beautiful thing to have a player like Graham Barton who can fill in that center position if someone gets hurt, or who can fill in that guard position and even stretch out all the way to the tackle box to get some help within the offensive line. So I love that. And then if there is an opportunity for you guys to go and get a player at that 16th pick, I don't think there should be a shadow of a doubt that you guys are not looking at the pass rusher position. And I know Boye Mafe, I think this is about to be his third season, I believe, in the National Football League. Not saying these guys are bad, not saying these guys can't improve and these guys can't be staple defensive ends. But what I am saying is I am seeing a lot of tackles and a lot of quarterbacks and a lot of wide receivers going ahead of these pass rushers. So looking at yourself at pick 16 and you see Letu sitting right there at pick 16, you do not hesitate. A very long, rangy, he can pass rush standing up, he can pass rush with his hands in the dirt. You have a Dallas Turner who can kind of do both the beautiful things within the pass game and the run game. You get a Jared Verse who already has an NFL bulking body. He is very quick off the line, very fast, and heavy hands on the edges. If you can get any one of these top pass rushers at pick 16, which is very, very possible, I think that is definitely a recipe for success 100%. And it falls very beautifully into the regime of Mr. Mike Macdonald going defense in that first round. But the one that might have you guys scratching your head, and the one that might be like, well, what are you talking about, is at pick 16, I think wide receiver needs to be the option. Of course, you just went Jackson Smith and Jigba last year, and of course, you still have DK Metcalf, and of course, you still have Tyler Lockett, but DK Metcalf, number one, this new regime did not technically draft DK Metcalf. That's number one. Number two, the emotions are all over the place. And then number three, after this season, you guys can part ways. After this season, he can hold out for a little bit more money, or a longer contract or something like that. And if we know DK Metcalf, he's going to follow his emotions. If we know DK Metcalf, he's going to want to get paid. And so everything really harps in on this season within the wide receiver department, because DK Metcalf can be looking for a bag after this upcoming season. And so would it be the craziest thing in the world if you guys went Brian Thomas Jr., the absolute blazing wide receiver out of LSU, who was so fluid, who was so smooth within his routes as well, and it's just going to be heat-seeking missile to help Jackson Smith and Jigba get up and open over the middle? Like, is that crazy to think about? I genuinely do not think so at all. Or if you guys want to go a little bit more controlled restraint and a body control type receiver that is similar to Jackson Smith and Jigba, go get Adonai Mitchell, a big guy. He's a Georgia kid who went to Texas and has a lot of tools under his belt. I don't think Texas really squeezed every bit of juice out of him. Pause on that last one. But I just think that would be a great pickup. And so those are the three options. You go Jackson Powers Johnson at that center position, or a Graham Barton who can really be flexible all throughout the offensive line. You can go Leatu Lot, a great pass rusher, Jared Verse, a very dominant man, and Dallas Turner who could kind of do everything. You go with him at 16, or you can go Brian Thomas Johnson or Adonai Mitchell. Go get you a big time receiver with a lot of tools under his belt to help out Geno Smith and Sam Howell. And then last thing I want to talk about is Geno Smith and Sam Howell. Is there a quarterback controversy going on that really no one is talking about? Is it weird that I think that Sam Howell is just automatically plugged in as the backup quarterback? When I see the things that he did last year with Washington, the worst offensive line in the National Football League, bar none, and the fact that he was able to get over 3,000 yards passing, the fact that he was able to get over 21 touchdowns last season, and of course he has a lot of interceptions, but when we actually open up the hood of the car, we see how dysfunctional that organization was, and the simple fact that they're picking at the number 2 spot today. I am going to go out on a faithful limb and say the reason why things were not going good is not because of Sam Howell. He had a new offensive coordinator and Eric Bieniemy. He had a coach that got fired in Ron Rivera. And so things were not looking good, bar none, especially in that dominant NFC East. And so Sam Howell heads over to the NFC West, and something just tells me that come training camp, it's going to be all over the news. Geno Smith or Sam Howell. And you guys let me know who you want. Geno Smith had an opportunity to take a legitimate step forward last year. And you look at his play, if you look at the games, if you look at the games that they had lost, remember that Cincinnati Bengals game, everything coming down to the very last few minutes in the goal line, and you end up getting sacked all the way back, multiple yards, and the game being over. I believe it was just a last heave, maybe an interception. I just think the door has to be open. I don't want to hear anything of like, this is Geno Smith's team. What if Sam Howell can get the ball to DK Metcalf better than Russell Wilson could ever do and better than Geno Smith? What if Tyler Lockett opens up something? What if Sam Howell and Jackson Smith and Jigba have a connection that can't be denied? I'm not saying I'm off on Geno Smith, but I'm saying this is kind of weird how Geno Smith automatically has this star up to his name. Sam Howell is a starting quarterback that went through incredible adversity just as Geno Smith did. And so if you guys potentially have a weapon at that quarterback position, I need him to get some 1 reps. And I hope and believe that Geno Smith is kind of a personality of a Jameis Winston. He's made a lot of money. He's successful. He's in the National Football League. Everything is, bigger than him. I think he's going to be able to be a peaceful backup. I think he's going to be peacefully there in the ear to help support a young Sam Howell. And I just think when I look at the two quarterbacks, what they have done, their capabilities, their successes and their failures in the National Football League, I just think Sam Howell's the better fit. And I just believe that with Mike Macdonald being here and knowing that he actually got Sam Howell in the building for a reason. And then Mike Macdonald didn't necessarily have Geno Smith come on in here. That was a Pete Carroll thing. So you guys let me know what you think. Let me know what you think about Mike Macdonald. Let me know what you think about those 3 potential options at the 16 spot. And then let me know about Geno Smith and Sam Howell. Like, comment, and subscribe.